Hi, I'm Jerry from Evo. Today we're going to bleed some Shimano brakes. First off, we'll need a syringe, Shimano hydraulic mineral oil, isopropyl alcohol for cleaning, Shimano bleed funnel, 2.5, 4, and 5 millimeter Allen wrench, and a 7 mil open-end box wrench, and as well as a bleed block. The first step in bleeding brakes is to keep everything nice and clean and tidy. Any sort of oils, contaminants on either brake rotors or on brake pads can make the brakes not work. So first off, we're going to start by removing the wheel. Next step is removing brake pads. Some brakes use a cotter pin, which can be easily bent with pliers and removed by hand. Others use a 3 millimeter Allen wrench to remove the bolt holding the brake pads in. Next step is inserting bleed block back into the caliper. Helps keep the pistons from coming out while bleeding. Next step is going to the brake lever and making it nice and level. Helps air bubbles rise to the very top. Remove the bleed fitting screw and set aside. Next up is threading in the Shimano bleed funnel and leave the plunger in at this moment. Next up, we're going to fill the syringe with fluid. Place the syringe on the bleed nipple and crack open the fitting. Once we have the syringe on and the bleed fitting cracked, we can remove the funnel plunger, set that aside, and start pushing some fluid through. Once we've pushed fluid through the system, we now close off the bleed fitting and remove the syringe. I like to add just a little bit of suction to the syringe itself to prevent hydraulic fluid from splashing. The final step is to get some of the last air bubbles out of the brake lever. The best way of doing that is by simply squeezing and flicking the brake lever itself, alternating between full pulls and light flicks. Once we're sure we've gotten all the bubbles out of the brake lever, we place the plunger back in to the funnel, remove the funnel to set aside, take our Allen wrench and bleed fitting screw, replace, and use isopropyl alcohol and our rag nice and clean to clean up any excess fluid that might have spilled over. Before we replace the pads, we want to make sure that there's no fluid on the caliper. So with our rag and isopropyl alcohol, make sure everything is nice and clean. Replace the cap over the bleed fitting and remove the bleed block. Take your pads, slide them back in, replace the cotter pin or bolt depending on which brakes you have, and bend so they stay in place. Final step is to replace the wheel. Make sure your axle is nice and tight, and go for a ride. That's been Bleeding a Shimano Brake. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at evo.com or any of our locations.